Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today, I will recap the movie John Wick 4, directed by Chad Stahelski. The film starts in modern York City, where John Wick and his pit bull have taken asylum within the Bowery ruler. John rides the vessel until his knuckles drain, and BK comes over and asks if he's prepared to require on the bar table. John essentially says yes. John voyages to Morocco, where he chases on horseback the men who work for the older folks. After slaughtering these men, John stands up to the senior around the ring. In spite of being told that the ring is lost, John executes the senior sometime recently clearing out. Returning to unused York, Winston and Sharon are summoned by Precursor to an assembly with the Marquis of Greymont, who has been dispatched from the tall table. They learn of the Elder's execution, and the Marquis censures Winston for not murdering John. As a result, the Marquis censored the modern York mainland and had it blown up. Winston is considered banned, and to create things more regrettable, the Marquis shoots Sharon within the chest. Winston was by his friend's side when he was around to kick the bucket, and he said that he ought to have been the one to pass on. In Paris, a dazed professional killer named Cain stands in a stop, whereas his girl Maya plays the violin. Cain is inquired by the Marquis to seek after John. Cain says he is retired, but Marquis undermines Maya's life in the event that Cain denies the tall council's orders. John goes to the Osaka mainland, run by his old companion Koji Shima, where his girl Akira is the concierge. Koji meets John on the roof and concurs to deliver him Mystery Shield. Akira does not accept John as there, but Marquis' right-hand man, Chitty, before long shows up with a bunch of hitmen and baits John out. Koji's men show up and battle high-ranking professional killers, shooting bolts within the haziness. When the executioners reach the roof, John gets a weapon and begins doing what he does best. Whereas Koji's watches were able to repulse most of the professional killers, Cain arrived and started tallying his possessed bodies. He sets traps so he can reach where his targets are, sometime recently murdering the men with his sword and weapon. In the interim, Akira joins the battle and executes a few of Chitty's men, but closes up being shot and injured. As John proceeds to battle more men, he makes a difference her and Koji elude, vanquishing a few with his nunchaku. He is found by Cain, and the two consider each other previous companions. Hence, in spite of the fact that Cain is reluctant to seek after John, he does so for Maya's purpose. John and Cain contend briefly sometime recently. John runs absent. Amid the shootout, the followers, Mr. No One, and his German shepherd are adjacent, and he slaughters a few of the shooters who were chasing John. He too needs to sign a contract for John's head, but claims that the current sum of $20 million isn't sufficient. So presently, he is making a difference. John, whereas Koji and Akira are lost. They meet Cain. He and Koji are moreover ancient companions. But Koji does not permit Cain to seek after John, and they conclusion up dueling with swords. When it got to be clear that Koji would be permitted to take off, he proceeded the battle until Cain managed him the deadly blow. Akira, holding the body of her passing-on father, snatches her sword and tries to kill Cain, but Akira persuades her not to suffer the same destiny as her father, and she tells him that they will meet once more. Akira goes to the station, finds John there, and faults John for his father's passing. She tells him to slaughter Cain, or she will. Winston meets with the Bowery ruler, both of whom are mindful that their vicinity to John makes them a target. In the meantime, Precursor tells the Marquis approximately the pointless gore on the Osaka landmass, but he says the Marquess not only needs to murder John Wick, he has to devastate the thought that John Wick is untouchable and unkillable. A short time later, Mr. No One visits the Marquis and requests a contract of $23 million to kill John. The Marquis responds by wounding him within the hand, and is constrained to choose between drawing a cut and cutting corners to discover out where his aspirations lie. When Mr. No One pulled his hand out and cut between his fingers, the Marquis concurred to comply with his ask. John goes to Kyrus's club after following John. Cain and Mr. No One are moreover there. The three take part in a card amusement with Kira, who cheats sometime recently, unleashing his partners in crime on the three professional killers. Whereas Cain and No One battle off the hooligans, John chases Kira around the club among clueless benefactors. Joan executes Kira with a card and battles him, but Kyrus counters John with his quality and weight. The men of Kyrus seek after John, with a typically ridiculous conclusion. Kyrus pushes John off the overhang, but it's not sufficient to halt him. John in the long run corners Kyrus and pushes him down the stairs, causing him to drop to the ground, slaughtering him as he falls headfirst into the ground. Afterward, John takes one of Kyrus's gold teeth to Katia as verification of Kyrus's passing, and Katia responds favorably and makes a difference John with the ritual of branding her with her family peak and accepting back for the duel. John goes to church and pays his regards to Helen. Cain meets him there genially and tells him approximately Mia and what he has got to lose. John afterward meets Winston and the Bowery King, who grant him modern weapons and a bulletproof suit. Harold reminds the Marquis of what will happen at the tall table in case he is murdered by John. In arrange to avoid John from making it to the Saker course in time, Marquis employments Chitty and his men to track him down. The radio DJ moreover tells the other professional killers tuning in that there's a bounty on John's head for anybody who can murder him sometime recently dawn. As John heads to Saker Kur, handfuls of professional killers seek after him. He takes on shooters on the road, gets stuck in activity around the Bend de Triomphe, shoots terrible folks to passing, and runs them over with cars. The tall table tracks his whereabouts, and more professional killers are on his path. John enters a distribution center full of terrible folks and sets off explosives at them. At the same time, no one makes a difference in overcoming a few of the professional killers, and they contact Marquis to request a better compensate. Marquis inevitably concurs to a $40 million contract to draw the more frantic executioner. John inevitably comes to the stairs leading to Saker Cool and murders a few more assassins before Chitty shows up and pushes him down the stairs. Cain appears up to offer assistance. John rise to the best and murder Chitty's individuals. No one comes and battles him as Chitty tosses the dog into the roadway. Chitty collapses with John's help. The puppy bit him in the balls, but no one shot him within the head. Fair in case, the pooch moreover pees on Chitty's confront. John arrived fair sometime recently the sun rose. He and Cain choose up guns and have an old-fashioned duel. Both manage to assault each other twice. Within the third circular, Cain shoots John within the abdomen, but John does not shoot. Marquis then orders him to experience an overthrow to murder John Wick. He gets the gun and focuses it at John, but Winston tells him he's an presumptuous mongrel and reminds him that John hasn't terminated the final shot. Marquis realizes he's as well late sometime recently. John gets his brains blown out. The Harbingers at that point clarify that both John and Cain have been released from their commitments to the tall table. John goes back up the stairs, thinks about Helen for a minute, says her title, and collapses. John Wick dies as a free man. Winston and Bowery King buried John following to Helen and covered the gravestone as their cherished spouse had asked. BK inquires Winston on the off chance that he considers John is in paradise or hell, to which Winston answers, "Who knows?" And the two walk absent, whereas BK proceeds to take care of John's dog.